What's going on, gamers? It's your boy Coreboy back at it again today with a new video, and we have quite a bit to talk about. Some stuff with old Black Ops 6, and then some stuff with Halo, because you know me, I'm normally a Halo content creator, but we got a lot to talk about. Also, I did just want to show off here. We do have quite a few of the AR done. So we have the XM4 finished, we have the AK-74 finished, we have the AMS finished, we have the GPR done, and we have the Val done. Currently, I'm just waiting to unlock the Model L, which I already have, I think, over halfway done. I need just one more level to get it. And then as of yesterday, we did finish the Val, and we did finish off the C9 as well. We're making some progress on this KSV, and we are just having a fucking blast with this grind. It has been so much fun using all these different weapons. I also just need a couple of more destroys with the Sigma, and then we have It Gold, and then we'll be working on the next launcher, like on the side of everything. So we are out here. We are getting it done. And if y'all want to see my class setups, this is currently what I'm running on this KSV. This is mostly just my camo grind stuff. I'm mostly centered towards that. Of course, I don't have this thing leveled up all the way, but this is currently what I'm running on it. And then this is my perk layout. As someone who's been playing a lot of hardcore just to get these headshots done much quicker, I have found out that Recon is possibly the most resourceful, mostly because when you die, you spawn in and you can kind of see where everybody is for a second. Super resourceful. I do recommend it. But it has just been a fucking blast. We are just getting stuff done. If y'all also have been over the streams, you know we've been doing the zombies Easter eggs. I think we're going to work on Terminus again today. We didn't end up finishing it last time we played just due to... Well, that's a hell of a boss fight, I'll say that much. But I do want to talk about something with Black Ops 6, and who knows, it may end up happening while we're recording this. I've actually been having a, a pretty significant issue with this game recently, and apparently it's an issue everywhere, not just on PC. I have noticed something, though, about this issue that I have been having, where it only happens if I tab out of the game, and I'm playing on PC, so of course, if I'm, like, in the middle, like, you know, in the middle of lobby searching, I'm probably going to go tab out and look at something else for a minute till I get into a game. But if I do that, and I'm kind of worried it might happen as soon as I get into this game, but who knows, but the issue is that I will spawn in sometimes and it'll be just a black screen. There will be nothing there. It'll just be a black screen. I can't do anything to fix it, and I have to relaunch everything in order to get it to fix itself. Also, sometimes the maps and shit just don't load here either. It's a very annoying issue. It's not fun to deal with. It actually happened so much yesterday during stream that I ended up just like hopping off because I was like, I'm getting really tired of having to restart this fucking game, and I don't want to do it anymore. So I ended up just kind of hopping off after a couple hours. Did some grinding outside of that, though. I just went through and did the C9 and everything last night just so I could get it done, because I already had most of it finished up, and I was just like, yeah, fuck it, we'll just get it done. Also been working on a lot of the other, like, side challenges as well for, like, the calling cards and shit, which has just been pretty fucking fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this game, I've genuinely had a lot of fun with it. Like, despite the issues I've had and all of that, like, I have genuinely been enjoying this game a lot, and I don't have much bad to say about it. The campaign was super fun. The zombies is so enjoyable. I have been having a blast with zombies in this game. I love the difficulty of it, too. They really honed in on making it, like... Oh, I just threw that at my fucking teammate. God damn it. But I've been having a lot of fun with it. I love the difficulty of it. It's not super easy. It's not something that you may get done on, like, your first try. And that was, like, an issue I kind of had with Cold War, was that it felt a little too easy. There are still some of the Cold War mechanics that I actually did end up liking a lot back in the Cold War days, but... I don't know. Overall, it's just been a blast, and I'm probably going to end up doing the zombies camo as well because it was just super fun. Also, Treyarch, if you would, can you put away in this game for us to keep up with, like, challenges mid-game? So, like, I know what I need to be going for whenever I'm playing zombies or multiplayer. That would just be nice. Like, I would just like it. Instead of having to, like, make a doc and go look at it, it would just be cool if I could just see, like, what challenges I have left to do. But overall, I've just been enjoying this game a fuckload. Like, I don't know. I don't have much bad to say about it, other than that one issue, which I do hope gets fixed at some point, because it can get pretty annoying. Like, especially when you're on a grind like this, it's kind of, it kind of sucks. You'll get, like, 2 or 3 games, and I'll go, like, tab out and look at something, and I'll come back and I'm like, oh, I can't see anything. I have to restart the entire game. And I swear to God, it only happens to me, too, whenever I get a map that I really like. But, of course, you know, if I get Vorkuta 6 times in a row, it wants to keep me in there. I don't want to play that map, though. And I hate it with a passion. Also, The prestige grind in this game is really fun. I love the fact that they brought back classic prestige. It's so good. And they also like give some incentives as well to prestige. Like, hey, there's this cool skin attached to this. Go get it. It's cool. I'm a big fan of that. I like having incentives to actually do stuff in games, and it's been a blast. And I know some of the Halo fans might be wondering, like, oh, but where's the Halo content at? You do the Halo stuff. That will be back next week. I'm just kind of using this game and the time in between getting the new operation as a bit of a break. And I am going to talk about that a little bit today because if you all don't know, yesterday or the day before, the new operation got announced, which is Operation Great Journey, due to the 20th anniversary of Halo 2, which was my first Halo, a game that I am very fond of, a game that I have a lot of love for. It may have its issues, but damn it, do I love that game a lot. And seeing that we are getting a operation solely dedicated to Operation to the Great Journey, I think it's gonna be super cool. I can't wait to see the stuff that gets added for like the armor. But there's a big thing too that got announced yesterday. And I feel like I have to talk about it because it's a big one. It's something that people have been asking for a lot in Halo. And actually, I feel like my pleas have been answered by Halo Studios, because if you watch any of my videos talking about the sandbox in Halo, there's one thing that I have been detrimentally begging for, I feel like, since God knows when. And that is the fact that Halo Infinite does not have a true SMG. The only gun in that game that is classified as an SMG is the Needler. And I've been wanting either a UNSC or a banished SMG in the game. And I was like, you could bring back the old school SMG from like H5 and Halo 3, or you could bring in a weapon like the Spiker or something like that, which was kind of more of an SMG dedicated to the Brutes and the Covenant, and now would be the Banished. But we're getting the MA5K, which is the SMG counterpart to the MA5B assault rifle, or the M40A, in any of the assault rifle variants. But I think it's really cool that we're getting an MA5K SMG in the game. I think that's going to be super cool. And I did want to do a bit of a talk about it because to me, that can lead to one thing, and I surely hope it's true because I would just love to see it. It would just make my damn day if it ends up happening, because I think this could help a lot of issues that people may have with the game as a whole. And that is, I hope this weapon comes to ranked as the counterpart to the Bandit. I hope we get two weapons that are a Bandit and an SMG, which is very reminiscent of Halo 2, starting with the BR and the SMG, which I'm totally fine with. But also, the reason I say that is because Infinite has a very well-rounded sandbox, and every weapon does serve a purpose. And that's one thing I've always praised Infinite on, is that they very much harp on, hey, we want every weapon to feel good in their own unique way for their purpose, and they do that. Rather, it's the AR, the Sidekick, the Bandit, the BR, the Pulse Carbine, which I've actually come around to actually like quite a bit recently, due to me finally, like, kind of understanding, like, okay, this is this weapon's use. It's not meant to, like, rush in and get a bunch of kills with it. It is more of a, use this as a method of draining their health and shields down. And if you are at range, you can definitely use it pretty damn effectively if you just know how to place your shots with it. Of course, it does have the tracking of most plasma and pulse weapons, so that also helps quite a bit. But overall, that thing has been so much fun, and I love it. Like, I've come around, okay? I used to be a hater. I'm now a believer, as some would say. But with the SMG coming in, I've been very curious about some core gameplay elements of Halo Infinite that I know a lot of people have issues with. Major one is jiggle peeking, which is something that I know a lot of people are not a fan of. I even know, like, some pro players aren't the biggest fan of the whole jiggle peeking aspect, which, funny enough, I feel like has bled over to me in COD, where I do it a lot in this game for some reason, even though walls are, like, wall bangable sometimes. But if I know one's not and I can just jiggle on it and, like, get their shots off of me, then I'm doing it 99% of the time. I hate to be the one to break it, but listen, it is a great mechanic. It is so resourceful in those kinds of situations where you're like, damn, I don't know if I can take this fight, but I might be able to, like, take your shots off of me for a second. And I do hope if we get this SMG put into ranked, will it allow for more head-to-head fights? I mean, I do want the Bandit to be kind of the focused weapon. I do want it to be, the weapon that most people are going to be using most of the time, because it is the precision weapon. It's the one that gets damage out, which is totally fine. That's kind of how competitive Halo's always been played. You have either your BR or you have a DMR, and now the Bandit. but I would love to see this SMG be put into pro play use. I don't want to see this weapon G8, at least I hope not. If it is balanced correctly, I don't think it will. I think if it plays like a traditional SMG, I think most people will be like, oh yeah, no, this is fine. Like this, you can still use this in a competitive sense and it'll be fine. Um, but I do hope it actually kind of cuts down on things like jiggle peeking, because I feel like if you are someone who's taken damage and a lot of it, and you're starting to jiggle peek to kind of take that fight off of you a little bit, or to kind of sway the damage and be able to get that off onto that person, I think if you have something like an SMG, it would allow for that person who is already dealing that damage to come in and like actually push that kill and finish you off in a much quicker fashion. And I would personally love to see that. I would love to see some more aggressive plays in the Halo competitive like scene, and I think this is a great way to kind of introduce that to it and to really get people playing like on their feet, getting them actually involved in more gunfights. Because while you will see it in a pro sense, when you're playing just kind of ranked and everything, and people who are pretty decent and who understand some of the general mechanics, they really don't like taking a lot of fights anymore, which is something that's really bothered me. A lot of people like to kind of like sit back and use the jiggle peeking mechanic to really take fights away from them and to be like, no, no, you will die in my hands. Now it doesn't matter if you've dealt damage or not. You are now playing my game because I have this spot that I can constantly move in and out of really fast due to the lack of inertia in the game, which isn't an issue. I know there's a topic of discussion of, well, should Infinite have inertia come back? Should that be a thing within the game? Yet again, I wouldn't be mad. I think it would help some of those issues with that mechanic, but overall, I like how Infinite feels. I don't know if adding inertia would necessarily help with it or detriment it in its like any unique ways or not. That'd be something that would have to be tested, of course. Like that would need to be tested to see if it would really fuck with a lot of the core elements of gameplay with Infinite. And I don't know. I'm just super excited for it. I'm very excited to see this new weapon coming in, and I hope it's a foresight into possibly even more weapons getting added to Infinite. You know, despite how late Infinite may be in its cycle, if we're getting new content in the game because the team can finally manage to put that out, and they, you know, with the new kind of revitalization of Halo Studios, I think this is a sign of a lot of very, very good things to come when it comes to looking at things from a content perspective. Now, I did a whole video, do I want the next Halo game to be a free live service title? No. I would rather have a full-scale release, but I would like to see content updates. I feel like that's just kind of a common thing now we see in most games, because most people just want new content, new things to try, new things to play. And I think with Halo Studios and what they're trying to do is really revitalize and be like, hey, we know this game roughed in a not-so-great state due to how the team was, you know, managed at the time and how it was put together, but now we are in a spot where we can actually fully embrace ourselves and take you into not only the new era of Halo, but put Infinite truly where it deserves to be. And I have said it before in the videos, so I know some people may be watching this because they, you know, like Call of Duty, and be like, oh shit, well, let's watch a COD video. Like I said, I am mostly a Halo content creator. That is mostly what I do. I've been a fan of Halo since 2006. That's when I first started playing, back during the Halo 2 days, and I have been a long-time fan ever since then. Almost 20 years of playing that series in itself, and that's just not going to stop. But I consistently tell people, if you haven't tried out Infinite, do yourself a favor and actually go give the game a shot. You may find a new love. Something about Infinite to me has just always stuck out with its, you know, the gameplay, how the movement feels, how the weapons feel. I think, personally, it's damn near the perfect Halo title. I know some people may get mad at me for that, and I'm totally okay with that. But to me, when it comes to how the game plays, how it feels, how the weapons feel, how the gunplay feels, that right there, I think, should be a standpoint of this is what Halo should feel like. One thing I've always complained about with Bungie Halos is that weapons didn't feel dialed in ever. It felt like a lot of the weapon mechanics in the original Halo titles and Halo trilogy were very much like an afterthought when it came to developing them. Now, of course, Bungie is great story writers. They're great at building worlds, and I will hand them that. I will praise that to the end of the day. But there's definitely some things that I think 343 really honed in on, and now Halo Studios are honing in on as well. And I hope we see some really cool stuff coming from that side of Halo. I think it's just going to be great overall for the community, for how the game feels, how the game plays, and there's just so much more we can dive into, but that's going to be safe for next week when we actually dive in and talk about this update regarding Halo Infinite, because there is so much. But overall, of course, still be expecting COD content even after that update, because I am really enjoying this game. I actually have been having a blast with this game, which is a little bit weird to say as somebody who hasn't really played COD in the last couple of years. But this game has kind of revitalized me. Like, damn, Treyarch still knows how to make a game, and I'm a big fan of it. And I did love Cold War quite a bit as well, and this just kind of gives me that same feeling, and I'm very happy that we are having that. I don't know if I'll be playing next year yet again. I'm not a really big fan of Infinity Ward's design, which I think the next one will end up being Sledgehammer, unless they do the same thing they did with, MW2 to 3 and maybe do two Treyarch games. I don't know what to expect. I don't know. But other than that, I'm just super excited for a lot of stuff involving Halo, and I'm just really enjoying this game too. So be expecting more content on some other games, especially like COD, and then also Halo as well. And then as more news comes in for different games, as we get more news on the HCS season next year and Roster Mania, seeing all these teams forming and everything, we will then have all that figured out. And of course, I will do videos on it. But until then, I will see you all later.